Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Leaders of Lifestyle Podcast. I am your host, Michael Ferraro, and as always, we bring to you the very best guests in real estate, and we did not disappoint for this episode. We have Victoria Massengale from the Sports and Entertainment Division. We're going to talk to her all about her career, her work in Sports and Entertainment Division within Compass, and what we have going forward for real estate in the Los Angeles area. Victoria is at the Los Angeles area, and she's one of the top brokers. Victoria, thank you so much for being with us today. So let's get into it. Victoria, you have been crushing it in the Los Angeles market. You have worked with the who's who of celebrities, from Vince Vaughn to the prior owner of Los Angeles Clippers, and you name it, big stars, you've worked with them. And so you've had an incredible career and still going forward. Talk to us a little bit about how this whole career started in real estate.
Yeah, so I was doing voiceover for cartoons and commercials for a while, and my degree was in theater. So, I have a long family history of I'm fourth generation Angelino, and my grandmother and great grandmother, they were both in the movies and the silents and in the talkies. So I have a long family history of the entertainment industry in LA. In fact, my mom used to play baseball with Ronald Reagan on the back lot of Fox when she was a kid.
Fun fact.
Fun fact. So I know
that is
so
unique.
I know all about entertainment. I was not making a living at it, and I got to an age where I thought, you know what? It's time for me to face the facts that this is not going to work for me. Mm-hmm. And find something else to do. So I had a friend that was buying a house, and I kind of I didn't go through the process with them, but I was certainly there to listen to the stories and hear what was going on. And I thought, you know what, that sounds really interesting to me. So I took some real estate classes, and I found an office I wanted to work in on the Sunset Strip. And then I found a mentor who specialized in working with high-end homes in the Hollywood Hills. And my first foray was working every weekend at a house that had been on the market for a year and it couldn't sell, and I sat those open houses every weekend until I finally found a buyer that came in and actually bought the house from me. Wow. They came in unrepresented.
Oh, so you got the buyer.
So I got the buyer.
Beautiful. And so that was one of the early beginnings, is getting your feet wet, doing it old school, doing the open houses, working, learning your market, doing it that way. Mm-hmm. And then you slowly, then you kept growing and bigger. And then what was the next step for you in that journey, going from kind of the buyer open house side? When did it get to the next level for you in the higher end market in LA?
So I did a lot of door knocking.
Yep.
And, just chatted with people. You have to really come from a place of, I belong here.
Right.
So even though I was waiting tables at the Cheesecake Factory, I was still knocking on doors, and I was in it. And I ended up having a friend who was a writer. And then this was very, very early in my career. He was a writer in Star Trek. And he said, you know what, I'll give you a chance to sell my house. And actually, that is not true. He said, I have a friend who's a writer on Star Trek, and they were buying a house. And they said, you know what, we want you to help us buy a house, which is when they then purchased Vince Vaughn's property. And the business manager said, you know what, that's fine. You can help him buy, but I don't want you to help him sell. That'll be someone else, someone more experienced. But I had such a great relationship with the business manager, and the deal went so well with the purchase that I was then rewarded the sell side. And wow. I started working with that business manager for many, many years. I've been in business for 22 years. I've been working with him for about 20 years. And from then we just, I've just grown. I've worked with other business managers. I've worked with other, obviously a lot more celebrities, a lot of writers, a lot of producers, and then a couple of team owners. And some of the chargers, and it really snowballs. Once you get one of those clients, you end up getting a lot more.
Talk, because people are not going to understand this that may watch this and watch our podcast that work a lot with the in the real estate, but not in the higher end and not in the sports and entertainment. I know how important that stuff is, the relationships with business managers, but talk a little bit about business managers, who they are, what's the relationship that you have with them, because most agents won't understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, so business managers are the gatekeepers. They are the keeper of the keys. They are the people who keep all of the money. So when someone is purchasing a home, if they have a business manager, everything is going to go through the business manager. If the business manager says, nope, this isn't a good deal, I don't like this for you, then it's dead. It stops right there. The business manager has the power to say yes or no. When you're working with them, you'll have, sometimes it's just the client and the business manager. Sometimes it's just the business manager. Sometimes, depending on the client, it's the business manager, the assistants, the lawyers, the whole team. There are situations where you may not even ever meet the actual clients,
Yep.
but you sure do meet the business managers. And those are the relationships that are really, really vital, because it's their client. And you have to remember 100% of the time that the celebrity or the athlete is not your client. The business manager is your client, and that celebrity or athlete is the business manager's client. So you're just a cog. You're just working for the greater good of this particular person.
I again, for people who don't understand, because I get asked all the time, well, how did you break into high end? How do I scale my price points? My conversation to them is usually, the first thing you need to understand is, think about who your client you want to have is. Like, who is your client? Like, in our area, we are predominantly 75% of all home purchases are done by people coming from some world of finance because of our proximity to New York City. Not
Sure.
all, obviously 75 is a large amount. So 75%, and then we start breaking that down to what are the other categories. But then, okay, if those are those people, how do they consume content? What platforms are they on? Who do they talk to? If you can't talk to them directly, who are the gatekeepers? And so then we start having conversations of, okay, if my client is a new developer, if my client is a builder, if my client is, then we also go to those people who are around my clients, because that's the way the relationship has to be. But those people that you're talking to that are the 1 degree away from your potential buyer or seller, those are the end goal.
Yep.
What are you providing to those people, right? Because they actually have to have something of value provided to them, and they have to feel like well taken care of, or else they're not going to be providing their client to you because they know the experience is not going to be good and they're going to look bad. That's kind of what you're talking about.
Absolutely. So I always tell people that you have one opportunity to mess up with a business manager.
Right.
You have one opportunity. You might work with them for years. That one time that you really mess up, that one time that you make them look bad,
Right.
is the last time you will ever hear from them.
Yep.
They are your clients. They are the ones that you need to make really happy. You need to make them look good in every situation.
Yep.
And you need to make things easy for them.
Right. Right. 100%. And there's that aspect with the business managers. You also have that in the sports and entertainment world. We talk about this with Scott when I had Scott on too, is the relationship with the sports agents and those people, because they have other clients. But again, what value do you provide? If they need help, can you provide a service that makes them look good and doesn't put them down? It's the whole thing.
I provide anything they need. If they call me and they say, hey, I need a roofer, do you know,
Yep.
hey, my client, for tax reasons, we need comps for the house. I'll
Right.
spend, 2 days like making sure that I have every comp. I've got
Right.
a full report that I can give them. They're not going to sell the house. They're not doing they're doing it for taxes. But I'll
Right.
still spend several hours making sure, because I need them to come to me as a resource. I need them to know that I am a resource for them 100% of the time. If they have
Yep.
people moving into town and they're not using me, they're in town for 3 months and they're getting an Airbnb, but they still need a list of services, doctor's office, dog daycares, like
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I make sure that I have that and I cater it specifically to those people.
Yep.
Right. So you have to really, especially in this realm of real estate, you have to really come from a place of what can I provide for you? What can I give you? How can I be of service to you?
Mm-hmm.
It is not a transactionary business. It's not.
Yep.
I love it when I go to these big conventions and people say, "How many units did you sell?" And I'm like, I don't,
We're
I
not
don't,
that business model.
I don't
That's not
sell.
what we do. Yeah.
Nope.
Yep. And so, yes, I do get a lot of people that call me or ask me about how I do things, and they sell 100 units, 200 units, and they're burnt out from the systems of having to run the whole thing. And they go, well, I just want to break into high end because I want to sell less units, do the same amount of work, and make more money. And always the top agents are the ones that do higher end. And I always say, well, then the thought process of how you actually lead gen and provide services changes. The clientele, when you start looking at what we're talking about, the high end business owners, the sports professionals, they have the best people around them. They have the means to be able to hire the best attorney, financial advisor, doctors, you name it, they have the best around them. So to have the best real estate consultant about them doesn't mean they're going to use you every single day. But when they do call on you, you have to be there. Or if somebody from the inner circle needs something, they call on you. And that's how that goes. Once the circle is tight, they don't let go.
Nope.
They have the best.
Exactly.
And that's what
Yeah.
you create, that
Once
value.
you're in, you're in. It's not easy to get in, but it's also where you put yourself. So I work with some, a couple of charities that
Mm-hmm.
I'm very passionate about, but there are also a lot of high net worth people that work within these charities.
Right.
Um, I have joined a couple of groups specifically because that's the kind of people I want to work with are in these groups. I only fly first class because almost every time I fly, for example, I went to Florida not too long ago. I flew first class. I'm now working with someone purchasing a $15 million house who sat next to me because I asked what he does, he asked what I do. He started showing me um, pictures of homes in Beverly Hills that his wife was sending him.
Mm-hmm.
They had, at that time, they were not working with anyone. And by the time I got off that 6 hour flight, he said, "So, you're going to call me about let's go see these houses
In LA.
in LA, in Beverly Hills." Yep.
I got a call. I was talking to a broker yesterday about a house they're listing because I have a buyer interested. And she's like, oh, by the way, do you have something off market for this? I'm like, that's interesting. Why? Well, I was in the elevator yesterday at this really high end place that they were staying in, this hotel. And I got in the elevator and they asked each other what they did. And boom, within 24 hours, now this person's going to be, you have to be ready,
Yep.
prepared. You have to actually be prepared for that situation to take advantage of it, but putting yourself in the right place, which is exactly what you're talking about. Just making sure that you're in the right spots.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably not going to have those conversations in coach,
No, no, no,
right?
no.
It
Yeah.
was worth.
And people don't get that is that sometimes being where they are is half of it. So I tell, like, these are the three things that I'm taking from what it is that you're talking about. And I think that are practical for agents, which is what I do, but something they could take is one, I like the idea of the charity giving back, obviously, because it's good. But two, you're in the same value and belief system of what they are. They believe in a cause. They're doing something for good. You are
Yep,
too. It's easy to come to common ground. People want to work with people that are on the same side of the fence with them. So
yep,
that's automatically a thing. Number two, you talked about the almost the concierge service that you offer. I offer what's called LLA Forte, which is Leading Lifestyle Agency Forte, which is basically my bespoke dog services, flight services, helping people get off transportation, just moving to a new area, don't have a driver's license, needing all that stuff done, maintenance for different worlds. That is part of what it is. And then the events, we run private events for specific groups. So you have a specific group of really high-end clientele who's into barbecue, who might be into golfing, cigars, wine. You're doing creative. You have a really high-end art dealer, and you're bringing those people in. So these smaller, intimate events doesn't have to be 200 people. It can be 15. It could be 20.
See, that's the thing. People always think that like, oh, I'm going to have an event. It has to be this giant thing.
No.
There's I love the term micro events
Mm-hmm.
because you go, oh, wait, hold on. Like I do Pilates. If you look at my Instagram or whatever, I love Pilates. It's my life force. It's like keeps me going every day.
Yeah.
I built a Pilates gym in my house. I've got all of this stuff.
Yeah.
I love Pilates. And to do something with like 4 women and invite them to a private Pilates session, that's a micro event.
Yep. Yep.
To like find something cool to do in LA, to go to a place where like make a pot,
Yeah.
like make a bowl, go to a pottery place with 4 or 5 people. It doesn't have to be this giant thing, but it can be something where people are doing an activity that they might find fun or unusual, or just kind of like quirky, and grab the right few people to do it, and connect.
Mm-hmm.
People
It's a
really
hundred,
can.
100%. It is the amount of appreciation you'll get if you have a buyer and they're coming into a new area. And I've done this where I've said, I know because I have a relationship with the buyer, right? You learn about what they like, what they don't like, what their interests are, what they're going to do when they come into the new house, the new lifestyle they're about to celebrate. And they go, man, I'd really like to try out these golf clubs, or I'd really like to try out that country club or do whatever.
Yep.
And they don't know anybody. So you put them on a threesome or on a foursome with a couple of the other clients that you've had, and you get them into that golf, and you're going for a round, and you're having that breaks the ice so much. It's the same basic idea of, hey, I'm going to go everybody in the neighborhood and let them know that this new neighbor just came in and we're going to have a house welcoming party. You don't have to go that crazy. And I
Nope.
wouldn't for high end. Do not do
Nope.
that.
Absolutely
But
not. Nope.
but it's the same idea of saying that the neighborhood and the people around you, not the neighborhood, but the kind of tribe that you're going to pull in, we have the same thing, and we can just make this nice and easy. So we can go out to the restaurant, have 3 or 4 different people come out. We're going to go out for a night bite to eat. And I'm there because I'm the conduit to it, and they feel comfortable. They're not being bombarded with random new people.
Right.
So it's a really
Well,
good way to do it.
yeah, I have a client who has become a friend, and he has a friend coming from Brazil for the summer. And I have a few friends who are Brazilian, and this client has a boat in the marina, so we're gonna go on the boat for a day, go over to Catalina. I'm bringing a few of the people that I know who are from Brazil, and he'll have some of his friends on the boat, and it'll be a really nice day.
Yeah.
We'll bring some catering in on the boat and just like make it kind of a special welcome for her, and
Yep.
and at the same time, just things like that. It's just it's a different way of thinking
Mm-hmm.
about it.
Yeah.
And it's not salesy, and it's not supposed to be. It's just being of service.
Random service. I love that. Not transactional. It's transformational. It's be service oriented. One thing I want to touch on with you, because I think I would be doing an injustice to people watching and listening if I don't ask you this, because somebody like you who's been so successful, continues to be and will be in the future, who's working with such high-end individuals, there's a lot of people who strive to work in this field at the level that you do with the kind of clientele you have, but they have one big roadblock. You came from a world where somebody of high net worth or a big name was not foreign to you, especially being part of the entertainment industry and where you
Right.
are. But if you're coming into it from a small town, or you're just, you're the waiter coming in and you're not really sure about it, the biggest thing that stops people is, I don't know how to act or what I would say or how to feel around them. So they get scared, so they don't do anything. So
Okay.
what could you give them advice wise?
Yes, the best piece of advice that I have ever, one of the best pieces of advice I've ever received was from my first manager, who is now a Compass manager, her name is Fran Hughes, and she said, it's okay to be intimidated. It is not okay to stay intimidated. It's okay to be intimidated. It isn't okay to stay intimidated. People are intimidating all the time, right? You walk into a billionaire's office, they might be a little bit intimidating, or a billionaire walks into your office, it might be, but they're just people. And just, like, it's okay to, take a deep breath. If Taylor Swift walked into my office right now, I would have to go,
Huh. What's up, Taylor?
I'd be like, just give me 1 second.
Yeah.
All right. How can I help you?
Yeah. Yeah. But then how can I help you? Because at the end of the day, we keep in our mind that we are providing a service to an individual who has a problem they need solved with what it is we offer. So
Absolutely.
it doesn't matter. Yes, you can have the feelings. You're going to be starstruck. You might have the feeling because that's human nature. But at
Yeah,
the end of
that's
the
okay.
day, you realize that they still have a problem. They need your help.
Yep. They have a problem. They need your help. What I would say not to do, don't ask for an autograph.
No.
Don't ask about their personal life. Don't mention something that was on the tabloids. Like, we know what's going on in these people's lives, but one, it's none of your business, and two, it's not your news to tell.
Yep.
So when people ask me about certain things with anyone, anyone in my life, is it my news to tell? It's not my news to tell. Okay, nope, not my news to tell.
Yep. Yep. This is also another big piece. We're going to go to another topic after this but this is kind of a very important. You would think it would be common sense, but I believe it'd probably be harder for people than you think. If you were in a spot as a real estate agent and you get the opportunity to work with somebody who is a high net worth individual or a celebrity, and there's an NDA involved, meaning this person that maybe presented you, the client says, listen, I'm going to give you an opportunity to work with this person. You're going to sign an NDA, or you haven't signed the NDA yet, and you meet them, and then you get so excited that you're now going to start telling people who and what it is that you're doing and who you're working with. I know that seems like, oh, I would never, but there are a lot of people. As a person who has signed NDAs and as a person I've sold properties to people, I cannot tell who bought it. I understand also the feeling sometimes of like, oh, I want to tell you. You're not going to believe this. Don't ruin the relationship and your credibility. It takes years to build it up and a second to knock it down.
A second to knock it down. And the first time, I'll give you an example. There is an agent who found out someone came to one of our listings. I don't know how they found out, but they found out that someone came to one of our listings. And they mentioned it. The information they got was sort of right. It was also sort of wrong. They had kind of, anyway. I can never show that person an off-market property. I can never show them a celebrity property. I can never show them, because I can't trust them to not share news that is not theirs to share.
Right.
Just we recently sold a house that there were NDAs on the sell side, and we only showed it to 5 agents. We showed it to the 5 agents that we knew, one, nothing would get out about the property, and two, all 5 agents had clients that were looking very specifically in this very small neighborhood, and we ended up selling it. There were NDAs on both sides, totally locked down, never got out. It was great. But that original person.
Yeah.
So if you start talking about things that you're not supposed to talk about, you have one chance.
Yeah.
You have one chance to really mess up, and leaking information that is not yours to leak is, if they want information leaked, sometimes the celebrities might want to leak the information themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They can do that. Their team can do that, but it's not coming from us.
And I know sometimes as agents, it can be so exciting. And you're like, man, I'm going to build an entire career off of this. But then you find out you can't say anything and you're stuck. You're like, how am I supposed to build a career in what I'm doing, but I can't tell anybody. No one knows what I'm doing. Yeah, it's not about you. This is about them. And that's really hard. That's that mindset of
Well,
scarcity.
yes, and it's the thing where, it's like, yeah, I can build a whole thing off of this. And we've definitely had homes that were like, this is going to be great because we can really get it out there. And then it's
Yep.
like,
I can't say
ah,
anything.
but, but the people who need to know, the people that are important, the
Right.
people that are going to continue give you more clients,
Mm-hmm.
they know.
Yep. Yep. And they know, and that little niche group will know. And it's more beneficial to have a very small, thin, extremely powerful group of people who know how solid you are than it
Yep.
is for the feeling of validation that just people know you work with this person or worked with them. If you get both, boom, you get to sell Vince Vaughn's house. Boom, you get to sell the prior owner of the LA Clippers house. Boom, like work with them. More power to you, and it will come if you just do your part, take care of your job, and make sure your clients are happy. Want to talk about the LA market. I want to get into a
Yes.
little bit of the actual real estate stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the Northeast. When New York City, gets sick, we get sick too a little bit, so if they're hurting, we hurt a little bit on the Northeast. However, we've done really, really well in our area, knock on wood. We're kind of insulated because we've had so much purchasing going on coming up from the city, from the Hamptons, from Westchester, even from the reverse from Florida to here. So we're doing well, still high demand, still low inventory in our lower Fairfield County market. 10 plus millions doing really, really well. We're not doing as well as 21 and 22, but we have our culture and our climate here. The LA real estate climate, you hear in the news, this tax, this issue, this person moves out, but there seems to still be sales happening all the time in LA. So talk to us a little bit about your market right now.
Yeah, so we are down a little bit. My personal business is up 26% this year. We
Boom.
were in real trends last year. Hopefully,
Nice.
we'll be real trends again. So we've had a really strong business. The mansion tax that you sort of
Yep.
mentioned it is a real factor in our market, 5 million and above, and especially 10 million and above. Um, it's a 4.5% tax for 5 million and above, 5.5 for 10 million, and it is. People are still moving, but man, they're not moving the way they were. So if you look prior to April of 2023, especially March of 2023, you saw a lot of sales. But guess what happened April 1st?
Yeah.
That
Right.
mansion tax went into effect.
Yep.
So we have that, and then there's a lot of fear about all of these changes in the real estate industry, and I mean, I don't think that it's going to really change anything, but interest rates aren't affecting the high end and the ultra high end as much as it is certainly 3 million and
Yeah.
below.
Right.
Um, but we're still trucking along.
Yep.
The great thing about LA is that it kind of ebbs and flows, but we're really always kind of on an upward
Yeah. Now
trajectory.
LA is decent size. California is very large. Do
With
you any
over 10 million people.
huge? Any specific areas that you've really honed in on is like, that's like for me, Greenwich, Westport, New Canaan, Darien, Fairfield. Uh, that is kind of my world. Anything in lower Fairfield County. I'll go in all the bunch of towns, but I really hone in on specifically those areas. Would you have
Sure.
areas like that for yourself?
Yeah, I do. So I work mostly in the Hollywood Hills, the Sunset Strip, the Hollywood Hills, kind of goes all the hills all the way across and around. So from the Sunset Strip all the way through kind of Los Feliz, Silver Lake, Echo Park,
Okay.
Atwater, those cooler areas.
Mhm.
I don't do as much, even though I do, Santa Monica. I have something closing this week in Santa Monica. So
There you
I
go.
do it, but it's not like my real bread and butter areas. I think one of the things about being fourth generation Angelino is that I've lived everywhere. My family has lived everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's a little different than if someone were to, be in LA for 10 years. Um, that being said, if someone were really, I also have really amazing referral partners
Yeah.
everywhere in LA if it's the right thing for a client.
Yeah, and especially your history within the entertainment world in the area. I mean, that's about trust and who knows who. So that's a great segue into the network within Compass and how you got involved and how you use the sports and entertainment division today to be so successful.
Yeah, so the sports entertainment, I've been with Compass for almost 9 years. We opened the Beverly Hills office, it'll be 9 years ago in
Wow,
October.
that's great.
And I know. And the sports and entertainment division started in that Beverly Hills office about 8 years ago.
Okay.
Uh, it was, let's see, about 3 years ago, Ben took it over, Ben Moss,
Yep.
and that's when it became something really, really special. Um, and I've been with S&E for since I've been with S&E since the inception. I've seen it grow from literally, I think there were 5 or 6 of us, to 162 at the moment.
That's awesome.
And we're in over 70 markets. I know every single person in the sports and entertainment division, not only because I have vetted them and helped them get in, but also because we have so many events. I'm so lucky to be a part of this group because when people go to when people ask me about the sports and entertainment division, I say, if you go to one of the Compass events and you see a giant group of people and everyone is different, it's incredibly diverse, and they just look like there's absolutely no, like, how did this group of people get together? This makes no sense, but
Yeah.
they know each other and they
Yep.
like each other. It's the sports and entertainment division.
I love it. Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
really comes from our leadership because Ben felt like it was really important for all of us to be in person and know each other and face to face
Yeah.
communication all the time.
Right.
So we've got these small groups and we've got these larger groups, and we just we try. We work really really hard to make it what it is. So it's not just vetting people to get into the division. It's keeping people accountable once they're in the division. It's helping people. It's having these really high level masterminds with each other. It's just it's just really learning from each other. And I will tell you that although in real estate in general, we all have our egos, I have, my ego, everybody has our ego, we really, really try hard to check them at the door and
Mhm.
learn from each other.
From the moment I got to Compass in 2020, I looked at everything that Compass provided back then, right? It was the technology now is so much better than them, but even then, back in 2020, it was so much more advanced. The technology, I looked at some of the marketing aspects, the platforms, but to me, the thing that always stood out to me, being a former athlete and an All-American, was the sports and entertainment division was such a great idea to take an already amazing company and then segregate it kind of down to a filtered, incredible agent pool, serving some of the best, most highest end clients that you can in this specific niche. And I looked at the opportunity for the network there and saying, this is something that nobody else is providing. And I loved looking at all the different aspects that would provide in the different locations that it does. And then getting to meet, Scott and Ben. I had Ben on the podcast, Joseph Maston on the podcast. Just
Eric Dungy.
Eric Dungy's been on the podcast. Um, just incredible people with
Mm-hmm.
incredible skill and ability at what it is that they do. And what a great group. It's really great.
it's it's something that we could not possibly be more proud of. I believe it was originally Robert's idea. So he
Okay.
kind of had this idea and then just kind of, gave it to the group to kind of create. And
Right.
then Ben came on as the leader. And like I said, I can't, we were kind of a little fledgling when Ben took it over, and Ben is amazing.
He is.
If all of you don't know Ben Moss, you need to like call Ben Moss because he's fantastic.
He is. Go to the podcast and watch the Ben Moss interview that we did with him, and then go to his Instagram, and then go to his Compass page. Look at the work that he's done. He is a great combination of personality, but also extremely good at what he does, almost in a consultant role, which is what we really do. We want to have personality so people feel like they can have a relationship with us and speak to us, because a lot of times we do more than just real estate transactions. We're therapists at times. But also,
we are real estate consultants, right?
Yeah.
We are real estate wealth advisors.
Correct. And you
Not wealth advisors, real estate
wealth advisors. Absolutely. 100%. And that group of sports and entertainment division for people who are in real estate with Compass or outside of Compass, you can go check out that website too. We'll put all the links and obviously all of Victoria's links there as well. So you, I did have some questions for you before we go, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. These are speed round questions. Fire them at me. Right? Do you ever watch the Stephen Colbert questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't warn me about this part.
No, I didn't, because I know you can handle it. I don't do this for most people.
Oh, right? Okay.
So didn't do this for Scott because I know he couldn't handle this. So I didn't do it. But for you, yes. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Okay, what's the best sandwich?
Oh, a good old Italian meatball sub.
There you go. Big old Italian meatball sub. Love it. Okay. What's one thing that you own that you really should throw out?
Oh, I have a Wild Colonials t-shirt. I love, if you haven't listened to the Wild Colonials, you should look it up. It is stretched out and it is 30 years old.
The Wild Colonials?
The Wild Colonials, yeah.
What kind of music is that?
An indie band.
Okay, everybody look up Wild Colonials. Let's bring them back. Let's put them on iTunes. Get them number one.
Totally.
Wild Colonials. Apples or oranges?
Oranges. Really? California oranges grown in my backyard.
Beautiful. Have you ever asked somebody for their autograph? This is not fair because you work in sports and entertainment division, but I'll ask you anyway.
Yes. When I was about 5 years old, I saw, what was his name? I saw Ricky Schroeder, and I was so in love with him. Oh, wow. And I was about 5 years old, and I asked him for his autograph.
That's cool. What did you get it on? Like a piece of paper?
Uh-huh.
Do you still have it?
I do. I do. I have it somewhere. I have to. There's no way I threw that away.
Yeah, you got to keep that. All right, you got to find that.
I mean, he was like, when he was doing Silver Spoons in the 70s.
Wow.
Totally given my age away so many times on this podcast.
Nah, you're good.
But yes.
Favorite movie?
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Just like that. Anything recently that you've seen that you're like, oh, I like that a lot?
Yeah, I really liked the Emma Stone movie that she, Pretty Things.
Okay. Yeah.
It was weird and unusual, and
you liked it.
I did. I think it was really a really brave role in multiple ways.
Beautiful. All right. Exercise. Do you go with CrossFit class or a round of golf? Well, Pilates. I should have known that one. Just Pilates.
Or it would have been CrossFit. A while ago, it would have been CrossFit, but nope. Pilates. Every day.
I haven't done it. I'm still CrossFitting and getting hurt every other day. So maybe I need to switch that over. Yeah.
Just put some in. There's some really great videos of the Um, the Kansas City Chiefs doing Pilates.
Yeah, that's good. Well, if they can do it, then I can do it. I'm not better than
They can
anybody,
do it.
so
I mean, you're not what?
I'm not better than anybody. So if they can do it, I can do it. It's
They can do it. You can do it.
all right. Flat or sparkling?
Sparkling.
Me too. I have to all day long. Seltzer for me, all day. What's the most used app on your phone?
Skype.
Really?
Yeah, because I have a virtual assistant, so
Mm,
we text on Skype all day.
smart. I like that. You have one song to listen to for the rest of your life. What is it? And I'm gonna guess it's by the Colonials. What is it? What are they called?
Oh, the Wild Colonials. If it were by the Wild Colonials, it would be, I don't know. Oh, how about I don't know if this is the name of the song, but how you know Cake?
Mm-hmm.
How about there's a song, I think it's called No Phone.
This is the song. You don't know the name of it, but this is going to be the song that you're going to listen to for the rest of your
No,
life.
I'm awful. I'm awful about songs. Like I know what I like, but I never know, like,
Okay. All right. Well, get back to us on that one. Okay.
I'll get back to you on that one.
What number am I thinking of?
4.
No. Okay. Describe the rest of your life in 5 words. Tough one.
Oh my God.
I
The
know.
rest of my life in 5 words.
I know. It's tough. You're going to need a break after this. Because we're going to be done. This is going to be the last one.
Peaceful.
One more.
Love.
3 left.
Travel. Laughter. Water.
Water.
The ocean's right there.
Yeah. I agree in that one. Water is life. I'm trying to always get back there. I feel like I was an all-American swimmer and water's been part of my life. And then I'm trying to like get back to
Water's
water.
been a massive part of your life.
Yeah, since 8. So it's like trying to get to the ocean.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Yep.
But I have loved the time we spent together. I've learned so much. We've learned so much about your business, your career, your thoughts, the LA market. We've gotten so much out of that. And I can't thank you enough for taking the time to come on with us and chat. It's been an absolute blast. For people to follow you, check out what you have going on, get in contact with you. What's the best platform could they check you out?
My Insta is victoria.massengale. Really easy. And my website is victoriaandmichael.net.
victoriamichael.net.
Yep.
Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, Victoria Massengale, absolute pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, Leaders of Lifestyle Podcast, I'm Michael Ferraro. Till next time.